Conspiracy theories, particularly about the result of the 2020 and 2022 elections, are still quite popular in certain corners of the Republican Party. Listen to MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell insist, despite having no evidence, that the election was stolen.
Carrie Lake, Mark Fincham, Jim Mershon, Christina Caramo, Matt DePerno, Tudor Dixon, Blake Master.
They all lost.
All of them won. Every one of them was stolen with computers, and we can show you that.
The majority of Americans believe the 2020 election was not stolen, that the machines were not the problem. The majority of Americans find that.
Where do you find this fact? Who gives you the who gives you them? Where are you getting your facts? Don't spew a lie at me.
That's not a lie.
Not truth, it's a fact. Joining us now is that other voice you heard, New York Times reporter conducting the interview with Lindell, Ed Herndon. He's the CNN political analyst, national politics reporter at the New York Times. Where to begin?
Yeah.
What was most illuminating? What did that tell you?
I mean, we really started this process because of how we started our podcast. We were originally at Dana Point in RNC, and we saw Ronna McDaniel really come on and really embrace Mike Lindell. And he kept popping, the chairwoman of the RNC, and he kept popping up at all these different Republican events. And he was doing so not only with a horde of fans around him, but continuing to push that election conspiracy, not just the denying the results, but actually acting as if voting machines had been co-opted by globalists, by the CCP, others. He popped up in that defamation lawsuit against Fox News. And this is someone who has ingrained power throughout his own business, throughout his own fame, and I'm using that in terms of advertising in Fox. We wanted to push him on that. We knew his beliefs, but how was he using those beliefs to really spread that conspiracy? Because as we know, election denial was a losing issue for Republicans in the midterms. It was an issue they were supposed to be moving on from, looking ahead to 2024, but that cannot be possible as the chairwoman of the RNC was bringing Lindell on, and he's someone who knows that he needs that credibility. In the interview, the thing that stuck out the most to me was that he was very consciously using his fame, using his money to gain credibility from the establishment corners of the Republican Party, and he knew that would ingrain his conspiracy even further. This was an active effort for him, not a passive one.
Okay, but you spent 3 hours with him. Did you expect this to be a 3-hour interview when you went into this?
No, we expected it to be 45 minutes. We had a script of questions, but the way that he talks, infusing every portion of his life, infusing every mention of his book, we're going back to those conspiracies over and over. To get those answers, it required that amount of time because you have to basically...
How did you finally wrap it up? Were you just like, we have to
We actually ended up wrapping it up with a couple of... He told us nearly everything. He told us stories about Prince in Minnesota. He told us kind of all of these fabulous stories about his life, but we wanted to sift through that noise because it's still someone who's really using that power to do something that is down to dangerous to democracy. This is not something that I think people should really dismiss as a past issue. This is something that has taken on new life in the Republican Party, and that's because even among the base, there's a sense that that this grievance is a valid one, that the election is another piece of the kind of culture war that has been stolen from them, and that's what he is really playing on. And so that's what I thought was really important. It was also important for us to pair it with talking to the GOP chairwoman after that, to come to Ronna McDaniel and say, Mike Lindell is saying this, and she was not stepping away from that.
What was she saying? But for people who haven't listened yet.
No problem. I mean, she was saying that really that the Mike Lindell has a place in the Republican Party. She said that she did not agree fully with his conspiracy, but she also did not fully deny fraud claims either. This is someone who did not take the opportunity to step away from Lindell when we were doing that interview. And we were really talking to her.
And he challenged her for her job.
And he challenged her for her job. This just speaks to the level of that conspiracy is ingrained, that him as a figure is ingrained to the party. We were doing it to try to show the codependent relationship between the grassroots version of Republicans and the establishment. They need each other right now, and they both know that. And so you both had Lindell seeking out to Ronna McDaniel to give him some credibility, but you also have Ronna McDaniel who knows that she needs the people who like Mike Lindell and was not willing to step away from them. They're hand in hand right now, even though they're trying to move on from the most explicit versions of his conspiracy.
I want to hear the Prince story in the commercial. Thank you,
on top of all of this, we should note he's been ordered to pay $5 million because he said someone couldn't prove him wrong on election fraud, and the person proved him wrong, and now he's saying he won't pay.
Absolutely. Very consistent with him. None of the facts actually matter here. This is someone who is trying to push those type of conspiracies.
Said 3 hours.
Wow.
I want the uncut version.
Do you?
I don't know. All right, Estette, thank you so much.